Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, we are back. Y'all already know what it is, yo. It's another recap of the 2021 NBA Finals. All right, between the Milwaukee Bucks, the Phoenix Suns. Okay, game 5 was Saturday night, and I was actually out at happy hour, partying, having fun. The game was on, but I didn't get to really like watch it. So I had to go back and watch the highlights, watch some of what was going on. And from what I saw, I mean, my gosh, I mean, it was a great game. It was a great game. The Suns, they had momentum on their side. Obviously, they were in Phoenix at home. So you thinking you already know, like the atmosphere is about to be crazy. It's about to be lit. Fans gonna be crazy. Everybody got on gorilla mascot. They gorilla and all that. They mascot or whatever. Everybody just lit. The whole arena, the whole building is loud. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was music on at the bar. I think they had the sound on the TV, but it wasn't that loud. But you can still hear like the crowd screaming a little bit. So very very lit situation. It was a lituation in Phoenix. So all of this should have spelled a win for the Suns, but that did not happen. The Bucks, they just from what I saw, the Bucks just played a steady game, and that's one thing I noticed about the Bucks. All throughout the playoffs, they never get down. They never seem to look panicked. Even if they are, they don't look like they're panicking. Even in the game, in the game they could be down. They don't really go away from or deviate away from their game plan. They just stick to the game plan. If the game plan is to feed Giannis, they keep feeding Giannis. If the game plan is to, drive with Holiday and kick, that's what they do. Like, so whatever their game plan is for that game, they usually stick to that. Okay. So yeah, the Bucks, I mean, that's how they was able to sustain even a chance to win that game. They just continue to just keep a steady pace, a steady dose of 3-pointers, second chance points, fast break points. Drew Holiday with the quick hands, a couple of key steals. He just straight robbed Booker at one point. Like Booker came across half court, playing. This is the finals. Like, what are you doing? You better take care of that ball like your life depends on it, boy. Like, this is your life. This is what you train for. This is what y'all them early mornings and late nights in the gym. Like, this is what you're training for. And you're bringing the ball up court and you get across half court and you just get robbed. Like, I just watched the video of they talking about Drew Holiday is possibly the best defensive guard in the NBA. And you witnessing it right here in the finals, in these playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Drew Holiday, yo. Like he an amazing defender, and I'm starting to just now realize that. Um, so yeah, let's just talk about the Bucks big three versus the Suns big three. Giannis with 32 points, leading the way. Middleton with 29. Drew Holiday with 27 points. And note that all three of them played over 40 minutes. Okay, Giannis logged 41. Chris Middleton logged 44. Drew had 42 minutes. So they played big minutes and they all scored big points and did what they needed to do. Drew Holiday with 13 assists. So, he had a double-double. But Holiday looked very aggressive. Chris Middleton just did what he does. And Giannis is, I think, learning. I think we're seeing Giannis learn here in these finals how to be a teammate. We kind of watching him grow right here in these playoffs because there probably was a period of time where he was playing as some teammates and even some analysts were saying is like selfish or like it's just all about Giannis when he's in the game. But I think he came into the playoffs with the pressure of I can't have an early exit again. Thinking about all the chatter that would happen during the offseason if they were to get put out in the first round, second round, third round, even to lose the finals. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be that chatter like, oh, we thought Giannis could do it, but he can't. So, you can imagine going into it and you feel like it's all on your shoulders. And I think he learned during the playoffs that it's not all on his shoulders and that he does have a team and that he does have pieces around him that at any given moment, any given night can put up big numbers and secure a win for their team. So, they did a good job last night. I think that's the best that I've seen all three of them having a really great game and within their game. You know what I'm saying? Like Holiday didn't have to just have a quiet 27. He had an aggressive 27. You feel me? Middleton, he wasn't just scrapping. No, he was like creating his own shots and just getting what he wanted from the places on the floor where he wanted to get them. So, Middleton's going to do what he do. And I think he's proven a lot of people wrong. He had a couple of games that weren't great, but you get tired, you know what I'm saying? And those are probably the games where fatigue just really set in. You can train all you want, you can rest all you want and stuff like that. Like, you can't rest enough for a year in one night or two nights, So yeah, the Suns big three definitely did not live up to, I ain't gonna say live up to, definitely did not top the Bucks big three. They Booker had 40, so that was a bright spot. But he had 3 assists and 4 rebounds, so that 40 feels forced. You know what I'm saying? It's like I have to go in here and do this, like, because clearly he wasn't passing, or if he was passing the ball, they just weren't capitalizing on the shots. Chris Paul had 21, 11 assists, 2 rebounds. He played 35 points. Why do I keep saying points? He played 35 minutes. You feel me? So, pretty big minutes for a vet. You know what I'm saying? Booker had 42 minutes. Played 42 minutes. Ayton, however, had 20 points, 1 assist, and 10 boards, 10 rebounds. So, and he played 45 minutes. So really, he played the most minutes out of all the stars, out of all the big three, all 6 of the players. But he only had 1 assist, which kind of shows me that they probably weren't feeding him as much as they would normally do. And I noticed that the Suns do deviate away from their game plan when things aren't going the way they first set out. It's like almost like they got a plan A, a plan B, plan C, D, E, and it just goes on from there. And like if Ayton isn't able to get the matchups that they want early, then I feel like a lot of times they go away from feeding Ayton and they just leave him on an island to just rebound, defend. Obviously get rebounds, offensive rebounds, create second chance points, and that's where a lot of his points will end up coming from, or fast breaks, pick and rolls, which is awesome for him. But I think that with Ayton down low, I would feed him, because you got to think, he's a lot more athletic than Brook Lopez. So he has moves, he has footwork. He can get around Lopez. He can get him in foul trouble, or just straight dominate down there if he really put his mind to it, and if they really fed him enough and was patient enough to let him do that. And second, once the Bucks get scared of him, once he hit a couple moves on Lopez and they get scared and they start collapsing on him, now he can kick out. Now y'all got the ball movement that y'all want, because the first person he passed it to, they're going to swing it around the perimeter until they get the shot that they want. So it's like that 1 assist. Again, it could say the same thing that I spoke to with Devin Booker's 3 assists, where maybe the people that they kicked it out to just weren't capitalizing on the opportunities. But 1 assist from your big man who played 45 minutes, it just kind of speaks to me that y'all weren't feeding him. Y'all weren't running any offense through Ayton, and if they were, they went away from it early. It's almost like in football when a team trying to establish the running game early, or the run game early, and they can't. So what do? They just fall in love with the pass, because the other team then shut down their run game and the other team is scoring. So now you got the team whose run game is shut down. Now all they can do is rely on the pass. That's kind of like what they did with Ayton. It looked like, just left him on the island because it wasn't working with running the offense through him, or running the plays for and through him that they would normally run. Maybe if it failed the first couple times, they just never went back to it, and it just became a climb, because at first they had the lead, but it wasn't a big lead. It wasn't nothing to like be secure. And you know what I'm saying? You see the minutes that Paul and Booker played. Like if they ever felt like they were secure in the lead, they wouldn't have had to play as many minutes. So they never felt secure with that lead. And then once they lost the lead, they damn sure wasn't going for no like just straight post-ups. They looking for all like 3-point opportunities, 3-point play opportunities, like things like that. So, or just, Booker getting to his spot, getting his shots, Chris Paul delivering with 2 pretty big threes towards the end of the game. But once the Bucks took the lead, because they just play that steady game where they just just chip away, you know, that's what they did. And once they got that lead, again, because they were playing that steady game, they never changed it. So the Suns were left scrambling, trying to adjust to what the Bucks were doing, but the Bucks were just really pretty much doing the same thing they did the whole game, you know. So it didn't look different to me from when they were losing to when they got the lead. The Bucks didn't look any different. You feel me? So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But man, I can't believe they lost. That's wild. Man. So, all right, real quick. Game over. You know, the game, the Bucks won. So, 123-19. They're going back to Milwaukee. Bucks got a chance to win the championship, win the title, win the trophy, win it all, become NBA champions 2021 season. But of course, there are the off-court things that, get talked about a little bit more than the actual game the next day. One of the things that I found funny was everybody was talking about LeBron James being at the game. They like, why would he pop up at game 5? I don't know, maybe because he had a movie that just came out on Friday, and he probably was doing some press runs and things like that, like in preparation for the release of the movie. So he couldn't just be sitting courtside looking like he didn't care about this project that he agreed to like care about and stuff. So that's probably why he wasn't at other games. But him being at game 5, I don't understand why it was such a big deal. One of his best friends is in the finals. So he probably was like, yo, when I get an opportunity, I'm going to be at one of the games. Just like Chris Paul was at his games before. Like, I don't understand what the big deal is, but of course it's LeBron. So we're going to have a big hoopla about it, especially Mr. You-know-who over there on that other place that they be watching that stuff and talk about that stuff that they dribble and throw balls and stuff with. But anyway, yeah, that was crazy. I just was like, what does it matter? And they asked Giannis about it in the press conference. He was just like, yeah, I saw him, but like that could have been my mother. I wouldn't have. He said it could have been his mother sitting over there. He wouldn't have spoke to her. Like he focused on the game. And that's real. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do nothing but respect it. Like what was he supposed to say? Like, oh yeah, I saw him. And in the middle of a play, I just threw the ball down and ran over to him and said, Bron, I love the movie. Like what was he supposed to do? Like, I don't understand why you even would ask that question. That's like some fanboy question. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you? I wonder what Giannis thought about seeing LeBron sitting courtside. Like, why are you asking that? That has nothing to do with nothing. And even if it did affect him mentally, you think he's gonna say it in front of millions of people? You think he's gonna be sitting there like, oh yeah, seeing LeBron there, it really made me not be able to concentrate on the game. Like, you think he's gonna say that? He's not going to say that. So what is the point of you asking that question? To sit there and look dumb. You wasted your question asking him how he felt about seeing LeBron sitting courtside. Somebody take his notepad or his phone or whatever he's using to get this information. He's gone. Is he gone? Okay, get him out of here. He should never be allowed to ask any more questions. Like that was the dumbest question I've heard asked after a basketball game. What does it matter? Are you gonna ask the next about the person sitting in fucking row 32 who had the popcorn in their left hand and the fucking Sprite in the right? Like what? These people are out there focused on what is in front of them and around them, and it is other players. Some have on opposite uniform or opposite kind of uniforms, colors. They play for another team. He plays for one. There's one basketball. They both are fighting for it. They have to put the ball in opposite hoops. Those are the things that matter, not who's sitting down in a seat. Like, man, I should have that dude's job. Like, give me his press pass. The fuck? Dumbass. I know how to ask the right questions. I wouldn't be asking no simple stuff like that, man. Anyway, oh, and then speaking of questions, while we in the same vein, okay, can we please talk about the stupid reporter who really tried to sit there and throw Chris Paul under the bus in front of Devin Booker while he's sitting at the press conference together? Like, Devin Booker just shut it straight down. He'll just say something like, how do you feel about like your performance tonight? And, the fact that, Chris Paul basically didn't like live up to his game or play like or didn't do good or whatever. Like, and I'm just sitting here looking. I'm like, well, dude had 21 points, 11 assists, 2 boards. You know what I'm saying? He's a point guard, an undersized one at that. What do you want from him? He's a veteran. You know, damn near 20 years in the league. I mean, what do you want from the guy? Multiple injuries. I think that's a pretty solid performance. That's a solid performance from a veteran player of almost 20 years who's been through multiple injuries and surgeries, bounced around the different. I think that's a solid performance. I don't know what he meant by the disappointment part or all of that, but I'm glad to see that Booker shut it down. They strike me as a pretty close-knit team. So I wasn't surprised that he shut him down. I was actually waiting for it. I was like, oh, here it come. Oh, he about to let out. Boom, dummy. What you asked that for? Why you say that? Huh? Why'd you ask that? That was done. So, yeah. I'm glad he shut that down. I love when stupid reporters get shut down. Y'all sound so stupid asking them dumb. You know how many of us would love to ask a real basketball-related question to these NBA players, and y'all sitting up here wasting time like, hey, how'd you feel about your shoes being tied? Anyway, y'all, Game 6 comes on tomorrow night, I believe. What's today? Is Monday, so that's Tuesday. So yeah, it comes on tomorrow night. Man, the Bucks got a chance. They got a chance. I mean, you can't count them out. And they're gonna be in Milwaukee. It's gonna be ruckus in that joint. They fucking around have a real buck on the motherfucking side. Now that's something to ask somebody about. How'd you feel about that live ass buck just walking back and forth, just doing his thing? He left a couple turds at half court right there. During halftime, they didn't do nothing about it for a couple minutes. Like, what do you feel about that? Like, that's some sideline, courtside questions to ask. You feel what I'm saying? Like a live buck at the game. That's gonna be great. But yo, it's gonna be wild up in there, yo. The Suns have put themselves in a serious predicament. Seriously, like they had so many chances. And I really feel like they should have stole. I feel like they could have and they should have been able to or still won in Miami and Milwaukee. Okay. And they didn't. And now they've lost one at home, which is like, because both teams have won at home. Nobody's lost at home yet. So they in a bad spot. Listen, like and share this video. Comment below. Let me know what you think about Game 5 with the Suns and the Bucks. The game by this point tomorrow, the game will be in the thick of it. By this point tomorrow, we will know if we will have a new NBA champion or not. Literally by this point tomorrow, the game will be wrapping up. You know what I'm saying? It'll be in the fourth quarter, something like that. So, but still, let me know what you think about this game right here, Game 5, like in Phoenix. Like, how did they lose? How did the Suns lose? What happened? Were the Bucks that dominant or were the Suns just that weak? I mean, what happened? Let me know down below in the comments. Like and share this video. And please don't forget to subscribe. Okay, listen, it's been real. I'll be back on time next time. All right. Until then, you already know what it is.